So, we look at that and say, look, if you increase your profit over the next 7 years by, let's say $100,000 in total profit, and you sell for a 6 multiple, that's another 600,000 in value that you're going to get.
Yep.
Add that to taking 10% of the practice revenue, and it's not hard to hit your number. Like when people say we have a wealth gap of $1.4 million, they equate that to, oh my God, I got to save $1.4 million. And it's like, no.
I mean, that example makes it so simple for clients who are listening, because it's very, very true. Each dollar you increase the profit in your practice could be anywhere from a 4 to a 1,200% return.
Say that again. Every dollar of profit in your practice can increase.
Every additional dollar of profit in your practice is going to give you a 400 to 1,200% return.
That's amazing.
Because most practices that sell are going to sell somewhere between a 4 and a 12 multiple.
Yeah. Depending
obviously size, industry, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
We don't got to get into that. But even on the low end,
where
else are you going to earn 400% in a couple of years?
That is the message that we try to get across to people that own a business or a practice, is that the quickest way to increase your wealth is not, looking at side hustles or, real estate is a slow game. It really is.
Yep.
It takes time. And it's a place, obviously you want to park money and preserve assets and if you know what you're doing. But if you really want to see your net worth increase, it's going to be increase the profit margins of your business, especially in the industries that we cater to, because these multiples are, I would say on average right now, I mean, I haven't seen most of the people that we've seen sell. I haven't seen maybe lower than a 5 multiple, maybe 5 or 6 here recently. It's been,
I agree.
It's been pretty good. And, it got as high as like 17 or 18 in some cases, which is probably not.
It was ridiculous for a couple of years there.
Which is probably not going to happen again. But I think.
No, those days have sailed.
The point is that when you're figuring out your retirement income streams and how much you're going to need, it is good to start with what is your desired monthly income, DIMI.
Yep.
We call it DIMI. Your desired monthly income. That is the target that you should be going for, and it's got to be enough to be able to replace 100% of what you're making right now. Now, in all fairness, it's not easy to do at all, especially if you have.
No, it takes hard work.
Yeah, especially if you have a practice that's really profitable. It's kind of hard to match the amount of income that you make from that. But I would say this: your life does change, because you don't have the enormous tax burden that you do as an owner when after you sell the practice.
True.
Okay. And so you don't necessarily have that big expense, and you're not taking, how we do it in our system is, you try to save 10% of your practice revenue, which usually equates to about 30% of your take home pay compensation, and we're probably not going to need to do that anymore.
No. I mean, you're assuming you sell the practice, obviously you're going to lose access to the cash flow of the practice. So saving 10% off the top is impossible.
Yeah. It's
at that point.
Yeah, you can't do that, but it needs to be enough to replace that. Cause I've seen in most cases, people that have sold their practices, they don't want their lifestyle to go backwards. And for the most part, they don't really have to, from what I've seen.
Yeah.
And that's the fun part about what we get to do, is that I can map out. We did this yesterday. I just mapped out with someone, looked at all of their equity that they're going to have when their sale recaps at some point, the real estate, they have insurance-based products, they got stocks and bonds, they got private placements, they got it all across the gambit. And it was like $480,000. And then we add in Social Security, and it was just like I can't believe it. I feel like I'm making more money. Right. And here, this is a phenomenon that you're going to see too. You're going to feel richer after you transition out because you don't have some of the big expenses. And I've heard that from many people that have said, wow, I actually feel like I have more money, even though technically I'm making the same or even a little bit less, but I feel like I have more money. I don't know if
they do. And I've explained that to a lot of clients as well, is like when most of our clients are S Corps.
Mhm.
So the profit of the practice flows onto their personal return.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's just say your salary is 100K and your profit is 300, right? So 400,000 of total income. You're not living off 400 of income, because in that profit, you have to pay debt. That's paid with after-tax money. You have your savings. That's after-tax money.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what we do, your 10%. You have money that sits in the business checking as working capital. So somebody who's showing a pre-retirement taxable income of 400K, if they're a practice owner, they're not living off 400K. They're probably living off 250.
Yeah.
So if you're able to replace close to that 400K, yeah, they are actually living off of more.
Yes.
No doubt.
That's a good point.
So
that is actually a pretty good point. We do have to factor that in when we're coming up with that number, the fact that the tax amount that they have to pay on that and and the savings rate that we're having them put in, which is quite a bit more than what I think most people would tell them to do.
Yeah.
That is for sure.